The government recently passed a new rule that basically says that if you have an FHA mortgage, you can ask for a new forbearance even if you haven't gotten one yet, and essentially ask for unlimited forbearance extensions in many cases because the COVID-19 national emergency has not ended and the government is allowing more and more forbearances with FHA if you qualify in certain situations. In March of 2020, the Trump administration passed the COVID-19 national emergency through an executive proclamation. This seems like not a very big deal, but these words, national emergency, COVID-19 national emergency, created a right for certain people to get forbearances on their mortgages throughout the entire time of the national emergency. This national emergency proclamation has been extended several times because we're still dealing with the effects of COVID-19, the Delta variant, and other effects of the national emergency from March of 2020. Now, what's been going on is that with FHA only, this only applies to FHA, which is a big percentage, about 30 to 40% of the mortgages in the United States are FHA mortgages. If you have an FHA mortgage, then essentially you can ask for a forbearance right now. If you've never asked for a forbearance, you can go and ask for a forbearance because the government has said that the FHA has to give you at least a 6-month forbearance in the initial period if you've never asked for a forbearance in the past. So if you're being affected right now by what's going on in COVID, the COVID economy, which is basically everything in the economy, then you can go to FHA, go to your lender, and you can ask for another 6-month forbearance and keep going with your old forbearance for more time if you need more time. Now, the other big thing is this is regardless of delinquency. So even if you're in foreclosure and you've been dealing with a foreclosure for a while and you have an FHA mortgage, you can basically stop the foreclosure by asking for a forbearance right now. The government will give you a forbearance and stop the foreclosure proceedings dead in its tracks while the forbearance is going on. That's a 6-month reprieve that actually can be extended for as long as the COVID-19 national emergency continues. If you are in a forbearance, you can ask for more time, and if you don't have a forbearance, you can ask for a new forbearance and get more time to not pay the mortgage. Now, the question is should you do that? Now, obviously, if you're in a foreclosure situation, absolutely. But if you're not and you're able to pay your mortgage, you need to understand and remember that the forbearance is not free. I've been doing this channel for about a year now, and the question I get over and over again is what happens to the money that I owe in the forbearance? What happens to that? And I'll answer that, you have to pay it back. You have to pay this money back. This money is not free. This is not a pause in the sense that you don't pay your mortgage for a year and then you just pick it up and then nothing happens. No, every single payment you missed will be added to the unpaid principal balance through a lien at the end. That means that you have to pay this when you sell or refinance. Now, you will pay back every single penny. So if your payment is $2,000 a month and you're in forbearance for 12 months, that's $24,000 that you will pay when you refinance or sell the home. This is a big deal because a lot of people think, oh, well, the forbearance means I'm not paying. There's no consequences. There absolutely are consequences. You will pay this money back. So if you're thinking about taking the new forbearance, think 2, 3, 4 times because what you're asking for is basically a delay in your payments. It's not a free stop in your payments forever. You are delaying the payments for a later time. And this last bit here on my card is the biggest thing you got to think about. That what you're doing is you're delaying the payment, and since you're not paying it, you're basically borrowing from your equity. You're taking away from your equity. And when you sell the house, your equity will be lower because you will not have that money. The $24,000 in my example will be put at the end. So instead of when you sold your house, you got $24,000 more from your equity, you would have to pay that equity to the bank and you would lose that $24,000. Now, obviously, if you need to go into forbearance, do it. But endless forbearances, unlimited forbearances are not good, because eventually your equity will be gone. You will have nothing left, and you will be giving it all away just because you didn't want to pay or could not pay, but maybe you could pay for some period of time. So think about it 2 to 3 times before you take any new forbearances.